With so many different property investment opportunities available on the market, it's often hard for investors to decide what actually is the right investment for them and what makes a good property investment. My name is Sanjit Danjal, Managing Director of the Opulent Group of Companies, and today I'm going to share with you what we believe here at Opulent makes a good property investment. Now, first and foremost, a good property investment is obviously one that makes you money, but also one that aligns with your financial goals and objectives. So before we even get started on what makes a good property investment, the first port of call really is to spend some time to really understand what it is you're trying to achieve from investing into property. Once you've spent a bit of time on that and understood what you're trying to gain, is it capital appreciation? Is it strong rental yields? Are you wanting to invest to provide a better future for your family or to build a pot of money to fund your children's education? Once you've found all of that out and developed a clear picture of what it is you're trying to achieve, then you can go about looking to scour the market and identify opportunities that are going to add value to that journey and help you achieve your long-term financial objectives. So before we even get started on looking out for the right investment, let's first of all understand what it is we're trying to achieve and what our goals and objectives are. Once you've done that, really it's time to scour the market. You speak to your agents, look on the internet to find the right opportunities. But how do we know what is the right opportunity? So over the years here at Opulent, we've homed in on a technique that's worked very well for us and our investors. Now, the first thing we need to look at is location. Location, location, location. It's the most important thing. But what about the location? What is it we're actually looking for here? So here at Opulent, we look for 5 key things that you need to consider that make the area good or bad. The first thing we always look out for is population growth. Now here you can look at lots of data that's available in the public domain. You can go onto the census data, you can look at the Office of National Statistics, but really what you're looking for here is evidence that that particular area that you've identified is growing in terms of the population. Are more and more people being attracted to the area? Is there lots of things going on that are drawing people to the area? Because as and when more people come to the actual area itself, the demand for property, both for rental and for sale, is higher, which means property prices are likely to go up. Next thing we look for is evidence of regeneration, evidence of large infrastructure projects close by to the area. Are there new offices, new buildings, new commercial units being built in the area? Because as and when all of this regeneration occurs and the buildings come up, population is going to increase in tandem with that. As population increases, the demand for property increases, and again what we start to see is prices starting to rise. So we've talked about population growth, we've talked about regeneration. The next thing we look at is education establishments. Are there colleges nearby the location within which you're choosing to invest in? Are there any big universities in the area? What are these universities doing to encourage more students? Are they building new faculties? Are they investing heavily into their operation? All of this stuff brings more students to any given location. And with more students comes more demand for rental again. And bearing in mind, a lot of students often stay on at their destination of study. They also then will need property to rent or buy moving forward as and when they begin their professional careers. The next thing we look at is new business startups, and to what extent are businesses being attracted to the area, and how many new businesses are setting up in the actual location within which you're choosing to invest in. Because with new businesses comes more people, comes more staff. Again, the demand for property increases in that area, and what we start to see is property prices pushing upwards. Now, the fourth thing we look at is the strength of the local economy. And what's the level of employment in the area? Are there lots of new businesses being attracted to that area and bringing with them a whole load of staff? What is the strength of that economy? Because let's face it, If you're investing into a strong economy where lots of new businesses are being created, then what will happen is population will increase again, and with that demand will increase, and what we'll start to see again is property prices going upwards. So when it comes to location, those are the 4 key areas we look at when it comes to the wider location. Now, once we've looked at the wider location, really what we need to look at is the immediate vicinity of the actual project within which you're looking to invest in. So here what we're looking for are amenities. What is surrounding the property? What businesses are around that property? Are there lots of nice bars and restaurants and things tenants like to frequent? Is the property near a bus stop? Is the property near a train station? All of these factors rate very highly when it comes to choosing a particular location or a particular project. So have a look at all of those factors, because all of them are very, very important. And really what you're looking for is an area where population is increasing, there's lots of students in the area, the economy is strong, the levels of disposable income in the area are good, and the levels of employment are high. The last thing you want to do is find an area to invest in where, most of the people are unemployed, there's not much growth happening, the population is actually shrinking as opposed to growing. That's a recipe for disaster. So keep a lookout for all of those points. And when you've done that, then the next part of the question, what makes a good property investment, really comes down to the building itself, the people who have built that building, and whether or not the building has been looked after. This, for me, is really what determines how good a property investment is, because let's face it, you can invest in the best possible location, but if the building has not been looked after and is falling apart, your service charges are going to be huge, and the likelihood is your yield as a result will drop down significantly. So what do we mean when we talk about the building and how well has it been built? Well, first of all, here at Opulent, we're selling 2 types of property. Predominantly nowadays, we're looking at completed properties and properties that are already built, but we also have in the past, and still to some extent, sell off-plan properties. Now, with these buildings, it's very hard to see how well it's been built. Why? Because it hasn't been built yet. So really what you need to do is spend some time researching the developer, researching the financial of that developer. Are they in a good financial standpoint? Go and have a look at some of their previous projects to get a feel for the type of quality and specification they're building towards. Those are all very, very important things to do. Off-plan carries a lot of risks. The project isn't built yet. It may not be built. So it's very important for investors to do the right research, do the right homework, and understand how good that building's going to look, and whether the materials and the construction company are right. Once you've done that, you'll get a much better feeling as to whether or not this makes a good investment. If you're looking at something that isn't off plan, a building that's been standing there for 4 or 5 years, is already operational, has been managed already on behalf of perhaps the person that built it, the developer, then really what we need to do is look at how well that building was built, whether the right materials and construction was used in building that. But then what we also need to do is look at how well that building has been maintained. Some developers are in it just for the hard figures, the money, the bottom line, whereas other developers have a vested interest in looking after that building and establishing the right people to look after that building for them. Let me tell you, if you do not take the right measures here, then the chances are you're destined to fail, particularly if you're looking at buildings that haven't been looked after well. So look very carefully at the building, order a structural survey if need be, ask the developer if there's a structural survey around, and have a look also at the service charges and the history of the service charge to see how much money's been spent. If the service charges are astronomical and they're very high, then the chances are the building hasn't been looked after well. It's going to give you problems further on down the line. Service charges are very, very important. Once you've done that, let's then look at the target audience for who's actually going to rent these properties out. To some extent, this may have been covered off during your research in the location part, but have a look at the types of tenants that will stay in your property. Are they the type of people that will look after your property? Are they young professionals? Are they graduates? Really take some time to familiarize yourself with the target audience for the property. And once you've done that, once you've looked at that, once you've looked at the quality of the building, and once you've analyzed the location to see and make sure that you're in a high growth, high yield area, then only can you be confident enough to say that this is one of the best investments for me. So hopefully that information has been useful for you. Now, the benefit of working with a company like Opulent is we have a team of researchers and a team of people here that do all of that research for you. Our team are experts in looking at all of the things I've discussed just now. So if you'd like to organise a call with us to discuss any of this or one of our other opportunities, please feel free to get in touch with us at the details below or on 0207 205 4345.